Hey guys, this is Steve Huff at SteveHuffPhoto.com. I'm here today with a brand new Sony lens, a not so new lens, and the Sony A7S camera, which has been my go-to #1 camera since its launch. This is now mid-November 2014. We're coming up on the Christmas season yet again. But man, this A7S is a powerhouse camera. I love it. In many ways, it reminds me of the old Nikon D700, which has pretty much a cult following these days. A lot of people want to go back to it from the D800. Many love their D800, but the D700 just had something about it. It was like the world's first SLR with a crazy high ISO capability. This takes that D700 high ISO capability and knocks it out of the park, and takes it to a level never seen before. So I love the A7S for many reasons. One is its low light capabilities, one is its daylight capabilities, one is its color, its punch, its 3D pop with certain lenses, the file quality of those big fat pixels that we get from the camera. Sure, could it have more resolution? Of course, it's only 12 megapixels, but that's what the A7 is for, and then the A7R for those who crave massive resolution. Now, there's rumors coming out that in February there will be a Pro full-frame E-mount body. And when I say Pro, usually that means weather-sealed, fast, all the good stuff. And if that's true and Sony keeps it small, like I'm hoping, it could be one hell of a camera, especially if it has some of these capabilities, maybe with an 18 megapixel sensor, who knows. But the A7S has been my go-to since day one. I use it with Leica M-mount lenses like this Voigtlander 15 f4.5. The cool thing is I could use this f4.5 lens pretty much in the dark, because this thing will crank up to, whatever, 32,000 ISO, 80,000 ISO, and I could still get the image. It's amazing. But I want to show you today, the reason for this video is this lens right here, which is the brand new Sony 16-35 Zeiss lens. So it's a Zeiss/Sony lens in E-mount. It's full frame, 4 cameras like the A7 series. You can also use it on the A6000 and NEX5s and so forth, but you'll get a crop image with those. So designed for full frame. This bad boy is the Zeiss 16-35 autofocus. You get full wide angle. It's a zoom, so as you can see, when you're at the wide end of 16, it's going to zoom out and be a little large. When you go into 35, you're a little more compact. But overall, this lens is pretty large. Again, 16 will get you a pristine wide angle. I did some test shots on the A7S here, and at 16, this lens is sharp as a tack. It's beautiful. Probably up there with something like the Nikon 14-24 in regards to quality, which is pretty much a legend these days for Nikon full-frame shooters. One thing I want you to take a look at, though, even with the performance of this lens, and I guess that's what really matters, the performance. You're going to get sharp edges, you're going to get no vignetting, you're going to get no distortion, well, no real distortion that's going to ruin your images. This is a high quality lens, and if you're into landscape, if you're into wide angle, if you're into tight quarters, this guy is probably your best bet for a wide angle if you have a Sony A7 series camera. Now, one thing I want to show you is right here. We're going to get this out of the way. This is the Zeiss Sony 16-35. This is the Voigtlander 15 f4.5. Now, check that out. The Voigtlander is tiny. And I use this on my A7 with a Leica M adapter. So basically, I use the Voigtlander close focus Leica M to Sony E-mount adapter. And this allows me to use this lens in a normal way. And it also allows me to use this lens really close up, like about that far from my subject. If the lens was my subject, I'm really close. So you can do some crazy things with a lens like this, and this lens comes in at around, I think, $500. The only problem is this lens doesn't work very well on the A7R or A7. On the A7S it works the best, though it's still not perfect. It has a little bit of soft corners because we're using an M-mount glass on a Sony A7 that's an extreme wide-angle lens. So on the A7S, I use this all the time and I get great results with it. I shot it in Antelope Canyon, came away with some nice shots. I compared it against the Leica wide-angle Tri-Elmar, which comes in at $5,000, and the Tri-Elmar gave me a little bit better color, a little more pizzazz, but other than that, this held up with it very well on the A7S. On the A7 and A7R, it will not. But if you look at the Sony Zeiss, the new one, you can see how much bigger it is, okay? Now, if we take off, let's take off the lens cap. Let's take off the hood here. Oh, you heard a ding. That's my phone dinging. I have a text, but I'm not going to get it right now. I do these in my home. I'm just sitting in my living room with a little IKEA table doing this video. So if you hear random noises like my dogs or anything, just ignore it. Hee hee. So the Zeiss Sony is, from what I've seen so far of the lens, it's pretty much going to give you an extremely good wide-angle view on your A7 camera. This thing is sharp. It has the Zeiss snap to it. If I did a lot of wide-angle work, or I was a landscape shooter or interior shooter, stuff like that, I would buy this lens in a nanosecond. It's beautiful. The rendering is very nice. I'm going to have my full review up very soon with a bunch of images, but for now I just wanted to give you guys that first look video many of you asked for. As you can see, it is only an f4 lens, but this is a wide angle. You really don't need a f1.4 or anything unless you're going to something exotic, you know, like a Leica 24-14 that'll set you back $8,000. This lens right here, again, for FE shooters, those who like autofocus, those who want high quality, I could already tell you that I am going to highly recommend this lens because it's beautiful in the rendering. It gives me better color, better punch, better sharpness than this lens right here, though this lens will work in a snap. But I did want to show you guys the size difference. That's my dog coming in through the doggy door. Sorry for all these disruptions. She's a little terror. Let me see if you can see her here. This is Olive. She's the terror of the house. She's got a beard, and she just came in from outside, and she carries the mess from the tree inside. So there's a little personal shot of Olive right there. So back to the lenses. I just wanted to give this first look video. The Sony Zeiss 16-35. It's starting to ship in the USA this week, I believe. I got this one from Sony for review, and you better believe I'm going to do a full review of this lens. I love what Sony's doing. Sony is leading the way in the mirrorless market along with Fuji and Olympus. Those are the top three that pop out in my mind when I think of buying a mirrorless camera. Sony, Fuji, Olympus. They're all three pushing the envelope. They're all three pushing it, but Sony's pushing it the most. They came out with these full-frame mirrorless bodies that many have asked for with a great EVF, and they're continuing to push on with it. And according to rumor, look for February for something new from Sony. I hope it's true because it was kind of disappointing this year at Photokina and Photo Plus. There wasn't too much out compared to last year, so I'm hoping for February to be a good month for Sony, possibly even Olympus, and possibly even Fuji. So check back to SteveHuffPhoto.com for my full review of the Sony 16-35. It's now November 18th, 2014. I should have the review up within 2 weeks, hopefully sooner. But for wide angle performance on your A7 camera, it's probably not going to get much better than this right here. This is made and designed for the camera, and even though it's a little large, it's still going to be smaller than something like a D800 with a 14-24. This is probably half the size of that. So enjoy. Check back to SteveHuffPhoto.com every day for new reviews, new articles, new guest posts, new daily inspirations, new deals of the day. Christmas is coming up. So I hope to see you there, and thanks for watching. Bye.